Okay, everyone, I think that we are ready to get started. My name is Henry Morgan. I'm the Capacity Building Coordinator for Community Support here at NYC Service. I'm joined by my colleague again, James Garcia, Director of Community Initiatives. We're very excited to welcome everyone to the second session of our Neighborhood Engagement Toolkit training series, which is titled Maximizing Impact Through Collaborative Partnership. Before we get started, I just want to let everyone know that this session is being recorded and that we will be running through a few house rules before we dive into the training. So we have ASL and closed captioning available again today. We have two ASL interpreters, Gloria and Lisa. They will be spotlighting themselves throughout the meeting and switching off every 20 minutes or so just to ensure that we have high quality interpretation services throughout the meeting. You can also enable closed captioning through Zoom by clicking on the closed captioning button. I believe it says show captions, or by pressing on the three dots that say more. And if you have any specific requests for breakout rooms for these services, please just send me a direct message. I would be happy to help you out. For housekeeping, similarly to the first session, we ask that everyone includes their organization name and title in their display name, that everyone keeps themselves muted if they're not speaking. And if you are speaking, please introduce yourself with your organization name and title, and please turn on your camera if possible. If you have any questions at any point, please type them in the chat and I'll do my best to flag down James, and then we can try to answer it. And then we'll also have a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. Lastly, again, our presentation is being recorded for partners who may not be able to attend. To go over the agenda quickly, we're starting with welcome and introductions. Then I'll be giving a brief overview of NYC Service, and then we'll dive into the real meat of the presentation with getting started and identifying potential partners and knowing what you bring to the table. Then my colleague Danny, our digital engagement coordinator, will join us to give an overview of NYC Service's website and how it can help you engage and recruit volunteers. Then we'll be moving on to the next section of the presentation, which focuses on the first meeting, sustaining and maintaining strong partnerships, and evaluating and evolving in the future. And then lastly, we'll end with Q&A. So to give a little bit more background about NYC Service was founded in 2009 in response to President Barack Obama's call to action during the economic downturn. We became the first city of service in the nation, and many other cities throughout the country have followed our model. Today, we offer a broad range of services, including AmeriCorps programs such as NYC Civic Corps, youth programs such as our Youth Leadership Councils, corporate social responsibility engagement opportunities, and then lastly, our programs that focus on nonprofits and community-based organizations like this training. So without further ado, I'll move on to the purpose of today's session and the toolkit at large. So the purpose of these three training sessions are really to provide community-based organizations and nonprofits with the tools and resources that they may need to increase their positive impact through volunteers and strategic partnerships. This specific session focuses on building those partnerships, which will allow you to build out your organizational capacity. We'll also focus on learning to build innovative and successful partnerships, from identifying potential partners through articulating the value proposition for all sides and focusing on structuring and communication efforts. Now, without further ado, I'm going to pass it off to James, my colleague and our Director of Community Initiatives.
Great. Thank you so much, Henry. Before I kick it off, I'd like to introduce you to our Deputy Chief Service Officer of Community Engagement, Tiffany Tucker-Pryor. Tiffany?
Yes, thank you so much, James. I just want to say welcome, welcome, welcome to all of you. Thank you so much for taking the time out to be with us today. I want you all to know that James and Henry has a wonderful workshop planned for you. So please be engaged. Ask as many questions as possible. If they don't know, they'll come back with answers. So please let us all, enjoy our time together, and remember the housekeeping rules. Take care, everyone. Have a good one.
Thank you, Tiffany, and thank you, Henry. So good afternoon, everyone. We are so excited to present session 2 of our 3-part series of the Neighborhood Engagement Toolkit. Today's session will be divided into 2 sections, getting started and the first meeting. And then we'll have some time at the end to answer any of your questions. I shared some of my background at last week's session, but for those of you who are attending your first session, wanted to let you know I've been working at NYC Service for over 7 years, leading several NYC Service programs and initiatives. I started my career in public service at an early age, serving in the Air Force, AmeriCorps, and also served in my community board in East Harlem for 7 years. I also served on the community advisory board at Metropolitan Hospital for 10 years. But again, enough about me. We're going to jump right into today's session, maximizing impact through collaborative partnerships. So at last week's session, I shared the value of looking at your community needs and assets and knowing your value and resources to meet those needs. I also emphasized the value in engaging your community, begin to have a dialogue with the trusted voices. These are key stakeholders such as community organizers, elected officials in your districts, and current partners. So again, the importance of knowing what you bring to the table, listen with intention and lead with transparency. Foster collaborations through open communication. Evaluate and evolve, and potential partnership checklist. Articulate your unique value proposition and your first meeting checklist. So once you have a clear understanding of the community needs that you want to address, the community and organizational assets you can leverage, and any existing gaps, you can identify potential partner organizations that support you in addressing real needs and increase both your organization's capacity and its impact. So what makes a strong partnership? So mutual goals and a sense of purpose, shared value that expands your ability to meet your organization's mission, agreed upon infrastructure that expands and sustains community engagement. So getting started, it's important to be very clear why you're engaging in partnership and be confident in what you're bringing to the table. Invest the time and embark on an intentional and thoughtful process. Understand and be able to articulate your organization's priorities and needs. Be willing to travel outside your comfort zone, both literally and figuratively. Explore potential partners beyond the usual suspects. So thinking long-term about partnerships. Long-term partners can support your work and assist in building out your network. They can also speak to the legitimacy of your organization and the impact you're having in the community. It's important to have a thought partner to help launch new projects that build off from each other's strengths. So again, long-term partnerships are give you less ramp-up time. And again, a greater potential for lasting change and deepening community impact. Now, evaluate if a partner is equipped for a long-term engagement. New or smaller orgs may lack the infrastructure or resources required for a long-term commitment. These orgs may be a better fit for short-term or even one-time pilot engagements. Leverage these partnerships to increase volunteer engagement and then ramp up to a long-term alliance or coalition in the future. So when we talk about identifying potential partners, NYC Service is a great resource. We have relationships with a diverse group of nonprofit partners across the city that could potentially support your organization's mission and projects. Attending virtual and in-person meetings like today is strongly encouraged. Reach out to your local community boards, elected officials in the district, faith-based groups to learn what's happening in your neighborhood and attend possible resource fairs, town halls, career fairs, etc. Think about who you're currently engaging and find out who their funders are. These funders could possibly support projects they are doing in their community. When we talk about potential partner checklists, this is a sample of what organizations can create to use to determine if a partner might meet the desired qualities for a partnership. Fill in your priorities for a potential partner to customize this checklist. Now you can tailor your own checklist but it's important to be realistic. Set expectations, and you can also add to those lists. Now, you're welcome to use the chat box to sort of share what you're already doing when thinking about a partner. So what I would like groups to do is sort of take a couple of minutes to think about how you could adapt the potential partner checklist. Now, again, take a few minutes to consider what you surfaced in session 1 about your organization's needs, gaps, and assets. What do you need in a potential partner? And what would your org add to the checklist? Which of these qualities on the checklist would you prioritize? And what's your top 3? So take a couple of minutes to think about this. And I encourage you to raise your hand and share out with the group. Do we have anyone from the group that would like to share? I will take that as a no. We have a shy group. Okay, we can jump right into the next. Okay, so knowing what to bring to the table. So every organization has unique assets and resources to share with the community and with its partners. Before you meet with the potential partner, know what sets your organization apart and what you are uniquely positioned to bring to a partnership. So be strategic in who you want to partner with. Much like personal relationships, there will be challenges and differences, but it's important to have shared values, visions, goals to make it a long-term, or it's doomed. So again, make sure this partner has shared values, they're addressing high community impact, that there's cost sharing and efficiency, visibility, reach, and access to new and relevant audiences. Credibility is an issue area or with a new community, and opportunities to engage and/or community members. So your pitch needs to demonstrate that you've done the homework. You understand their needs and can articulate why the partnership is the right fit to help support both goals. It's like a job interview. Pitch your skills, experience, and value add to a potential employer. So reflect a craft pitch to potential partner. Again, being able to articulate your organization's approach. Again, the value you bring and what you're looking for in a potential partner is essential when embarking on finding the right partner. So when we talk about reflect and articulate, think about the questions below and jot down your responses. Think about my organization's overall mission is. My organization is really good at. What makes our approach unique? Key needs in our community, in our space, that are currently not sufficient. What are we currently doing and thinking about doing to address these needs? And what would you bring to an ideal partner, bring to the table? So think about these questions and jot down some notes. I'll give you a couple of minutes. All right, we can jump to the next slide. So we're going to do a breakout activity, unique value proposition. So individually take 5 minutes to fill in the blanks on the unique value proposition statement. In your group, share your name, organization, I'll move back to the previous slide, and your unique value proposition statement. Now, if you're struggling with any part of it, ask the group for input. Have the group share what was compelling, what was confusing, and how you might sharpen your unique value proposition statement. So we're going to ask groups to sort of go through this statement. Our organization works to, you share your mission, vision, goals by X. We are equipped to make an impact in our community because of our identify your strengths, assets that are relevant to pitch to your partner, and our track record of, you can share the impact. Some of the critical needs in our community that aren't sufficiently being met. To address the needs we are currently and are interested in exploring. And again, specific actions or tactics that you can amplify your impact. A partnership would allow us to, and you can give an example. And we might be able to support you in, again, describe how you can help forward potential partners' work. And together we can amplify each other's community impact. So take a couple of minutes to read through this. And before we do a breakout room, again, we're going to ask you to read through this, and then we'll have you come back and ask someone from the group to share out. Welcome back, everyone. So I'm going to ask 3 groups to share what they heard from partners in their group. So who would like to kick it off? Again, don't be shy.
Are we saying our own things, or are we saying what we heard someone else say?
Oh, you can share what you shared with the group. Just identify your name and the organization you're affiliated with. Would anyone like to share?
So I'm just going to say I think the issue was we were having a difficult time because we didn't have enough time to really read the whole activity, so to speak. I only got up to like the mission and the goals and what we do. And as far as trying to fill in all the, okay, so what I shared in my group, I work with the nonprofit, which is Bridge Development Corporation. We have several services. So I went ahead and went with the workforce services. I've been with that service for the longest. And we provide sustainable jobs to opportunity youth between the ages of 16 and 24. And by doing that, we partner with DYCD with SYEP, which is Summer Youth Employment Program. And we have, this year we will have over 1,500 participants that's going to be able to sign up with us. So we just acquired the 14 to 15-year-olds as well. So we have 200 to 300 of them. So in doing so, we're able to partner with several work sites within the community, actually within the 5 boroughs, from Coney Island, Brooklyn, Queens, because the 1,500 is a lot of, so they're going to be coming from all areas of Brooklyn, of New York City. So we partner with businesses, whether it's CVS or Walgreens or mom and pops or restaurants, schools, day camps, and things like that. So we provide a service for them, and we partner with, and that's where I ended up. That's all I have.
Well, that's a lot. And you guys are doing amazing work. Can you identify the neighborhood?
Bedford-Stuyvesant. Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brooklyn, yes, we're in Bedford-Stuyvesant.
Excellent. Well, you're doing amazing work. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Would anyone else from the group like to share?
I can share.
Sure, of course. Name and organization.
Hi, my name is Antonika James, and I'm with Housing Works, and I'm also part of a new behavioral health initiative that's called the Connect program. And so we're a community-based program that is expanding the capacity of existing licensed OMH mental health services. So we're providing free off-site case management and therapy services to community members that reside in Harlem, as well as in East New York. And the uniqueness of our program, besides it being free, is that we are meeting community members where they are. And so if that means that it's working with them at home or in a place that they find most comfortable, which could be a community center or a local park or a different location off-site, that is where we're willing to work with them. And it's definitely been great for us to get out into the community and talk about helping families to heal traumas and helping them navigate how to thrive under those circumstances, and being able to help them realize what roadblocks have been sort of, impacting their lives and helping them to move forward in a positive way. And we're looking for partners that we can receive referrals from, as well as organizations that may have a space where we would be able to conduct those meetings. So that was sort of what I presented to my group. And one of the great ideas that I heard from the participant in my group was making sure to target your conversation to the audience, and definitely making sure that you're speaking to that audience to ensure that that message is conveyed to them and where you see yourselves working together.
Excellent, thank you. And I'm a huge fan of Housing Work, so thank you for
you.
all the work you guys are doing across the city.
Great,
So,
thank you.
of course. So I would like to hear from someone in the group that is trying to address critical needs in their community, and those needs are not sufficiently being met. And how are you trying to do that? Who are you working with, or who would you like to work with to help support
I
the
can
work
go.
you're doing? Sure. Your
Hi,
name
my
and
name is
organization?
Ellie. Okay, hi, my name is Ellie Dickens, and I'm with Resident Health Initiatives at NYCHA. Our organization works to create and maintain a healthy environment on and around NYCHA developments by the Resident Health Initiatives Department. We are equipped to make an impact in our community because of our focus on creating and maintaining a healthy environment for expecting families and our track record of reaching 4,000 residents regarding smoke-free. Some of the critical needs in our community that aren't sufficiently being met are making our name known to NYCHA residents so that we may connect residents to information and resources needed to address the needs. We are currently reaching out to residents directly who disclose their pregnancy or have a smoking violation and are interested in exploring other marketing strategies. A partnership with a good marketing company would allow us to make a name that is known for the organization and reach more people so that their voice can be heard. And we might be able to support you in taking care of expecting families with 5 Alive inspections, wellness calls to check on your residents. We will also uphold the smoke-free policy. Together, we can amplify each other's community impact and create and maintain a healthy environment.
Excellent, thank you. And it's so important, the work that you're doing to help address this, and the demographic community that you're trying to reach is critical for our city. So thank you. And to all participants, I encourage you to share the name of your organization and your contact in the chat box. Again, this is an opportunity for all of you to sort of make those connections and talk about the work you're doing and how you can support each other. So I'd like to hear from one more group. What did you share, or what did you hear from folks in your group?
Okay, I'll speak. I'm Wanda Best, and I'm the founder and executive director of Art Transforms. And what we do is we use the creative process to transform trauma. We also provide workshops on family violence, intimate partner violence, teenage dating violence, and elder abuse. We also provide a safe and secure transportation for victims of domestic violence to court appearance and legal appointments.
What have been sort of the challenges you've encountered trying to build out those partnerships to support the work you're doing?
The biggest challenge that we have now is maintaining our transportation program, because we have partnered with a transportation company. However, it's that they have to be paid. So it's expensive to have a driver take a person to court, wait for them, and take them back. While we provide that service as long as the funding lasts. So the challenge is getting funding to continue the much needed service because just in Queens alone in 2021, 4 women were murdered. There were 4 homicides. And so domestic violence is a real thing. And victims get intercepted going to court or going to legal appointments by the abusers. So it's a much needed service and a service that's not being provided. So there's a gap there to provide safe and secure transportation.
Well, thank you so much for sharing, and thank you for the work you're doing. And yeah, funding is something that organizations share across the board, that they're looking to increase that network of funders to support their overall and long-term projects. So thank you for that. I'm hearing from so many great organizations and the work you're doing. I definitely want to hear from one more group. And again, if you're not comfortable unmuting, I encourage you to use the chat box to share the work you're doing and some of the challenges and how you're expanding that partnership to address the challenges in your community. So do we have one more person that'd like to share?
Hi, my organization is the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executives. We call it NOBLE for short. And I'm the president of the New York chapter. So I guess our group's main focus is really the equity and administration of justice. So as people who are, a group that's comprised of professionals in law enforcement and in the criminal justice field, we realize that like certain communities are more vulnerable to victimization. And they're often denied justice in several areas, whether it's victimization from people that are in part of the community, and also victimization by the people that they call for help, which is maybe the lawyers and the attorneys and the judges and things like that. So we hope to make sure that we're increasing representation for people of color within those fields, but also to help bring those resources that contribute to victimization from the beginning, right? So if you're in an area that has high crime, it's just not just criminality happening for no reason. We see that there's links to education and links to income. So we hope to partner with people who can help us to really inform policies and things like that deny justice for people, and to bring resources to community, because policing is more, it's not just about breaking the law. There's all these factors that contribute to it. So that's what I have from
Excellent.
us.
Thank you, Lieutenant Stapleton. We appreciate the work you're doing across the city. So we're going to jump right into the next topic, which is, here we go, preparing yourself. So, take time to understand a potential partner organization and the community it serves. So doing your due diligence prior to setting a meeting with a potential partner, ask yourself, what can they bring to the table? And can your strengths and assets support their needs? So again, researching and learning about the organization. Go on social media, see what the work they're doing, any images, any stories they're sharing about the work they're doing, and invite your partner to educate you on their clients, communities, opportunities, and challenges they're facing. Now I'm going to hand it over to my colleague, Danny Alvarado, who's our digital engagement coordinator, to talk about our incredible new website. So I'm excited to hear about this. Danny, the floor is yours.
Thanks, James. Hi, everyone. I'm Danny Alvarado. I'm the digital engagement coordinator here at NYC Service. And in addition to the Neighborhood Engagement Toolkit training series, we have another training called the Online Volunteer Recruitment Training Series, which is heavily focused on our new website. If you have not seen it, you can feel free to go to it, nyc.gov/service. It's bigger, it's better than our old website. It's the best website in the world. Go check it out. And what makes it so amazing is that it comes with free new volunteer management tools. So if you're using pencil and paper or a spreadsheet somewhere to track your volunteer hours, volunteer contacts, you can just use the system that we have. First, we encourage you to register. You can register your organization at nyc.gov/service. It takes less than 5 minutes. It's easy. And then register for our training series. Session 2, which focuses on using the new tools, will be this Thursday from 1 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. You can register at bit.ly. That's bit.ly/2023 OVR. Session 2, again, happening this Thursday, will focus on how to use the new tools that we have. That includes emailing volunteers, confirming volunteers for opportunities, marking attendance, verifying hours, and running reports. And then we have a third session next Thursday, February 9th, and that will focus on how to market your opportunities. So how to create a good volunteer description, how to share your opportunities, and things like that. So please register at bit.ly, bit.ly/2023 OVR. And I look forward to seeing all of you there. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Danny. Do we have any questions from the group about our new website?
I just wanted to confirm the session is just half an hour long?
That's correct. It's half an hour long. At 1:30, we will open up for questions for 15 minutes.
Thank you.
So Danny, let me ask you, if an organization that's on this call has an existing profile or had one prior to the new website, what do they need to know?
If you had one prior to the new website, some organizations were transferred over, only a small handful, and you should have received an email if that was the case. If you did not, you would need to re-register. It's quick and easy, takes less than 5 minutes. And then the approval process is staff here at NYC Service will review your account, and in about 1 to 3 business days from registering, and then we'll either approve you or email you for more information. Once we approve you, you should get an email to create your password. And then from there, you can go to our partner portal, create volunteer opportunities, see the new tools. And as always, feel free to register for our training so you can learn how to use those tools.
Great, thanks. I think there was a question from the group. Going once, going twice. All right, I will.
Yes, I have a question, sorry.
Sure.
Will other training sessions be provided as well? Or is just this first round?
For the online volunteer recruitment training series?
Yes.
So we had one session this past Thursday, and that was how to create different volunteer opportunities. If you missed it, I'd be happy to send you the recording.
Okay.
You can just put your email in the chat if you want to see that.
Okay.
It's on YouTube. We have a second session that's this Thursday, and that one focuses on how to use the new volunteer management tools. And then the third session is how to market your opportunities, which is next Thursday.
Okay.
We do plan on repeating this training series twice a year. So look forward to around maybe fall, October, around that time. We'll pretty much repeat the series, so you can feel free to register on those as well. Be on the lookout on our social media, email, to look out for this opportunity. Good question.
And Danny, they can scan the QR code at the bottom of the right screen to register, correct?
That's correct. Grab your phone, super easy, scan the QR code on the bottom, and it will take you straight to our Eventbrite registration page for the training.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions before we jump into the next discussion? Going once, going twice. Alrighty, I will take that as a no. Thank you so much, Danny, for sharing.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day and have a great training.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alrighty, so we're going to jump into the first meeting. So this is when it's really important for your organization to articulate your strengths. Be confident in your value add and what you bring to the table. Be authentic in your delivery and tone. So it's important to continue this ongoing dialogue, whether it's weekly check-ins, monthly check-ins, continuing that conversation to make sure you have, or your need for creating a long-term relationship continues. So again, as I mentioned, emphasizing relationship building. Be willing to explore different ways to collaborate. Listen well and learn about the organization's needs, immediate gaps, and how you might be able to help. Showcase your org's assets and skills and how you can create shared value together. Share high-level thinking of what a partnership might look like. And ask your partner to share their goals for a partnership, expectations of a partnership, and define next steps and make a plan to stay in touch. So here are some essential topics to discuss with a potential partner prior to an official agreement. Now, again, feel free to add on, but again, before you confirm an official partnership, it's essential to understand the many aspects of the potential partner's work. In your first meeting, ask your partner about the following items in the checklist: their organization's history, work, approach, needs, the top motivations for a partnership, their community history, their staffing, their org structure, learning from previous partnerships, the type of volunteer projects organization is experiencing, what is their commitment, any foreseeable challenges, their project and program costs, and any other organizational priorities and references. Find out who's partnered with them in the past or are currently partnering with them. So sustaining and maintaining strong partnerships. So here are two things to keep in mind. These are foundational qualities that show up in every good partnership, such as mutual respect, knowledge, and the willingness to collaborate and finding common ground. However, each relationship is different. There are circumstances that will change, such as your role and relationship. So it's more than transactional. It's a relationship that requires give and take, authentic sharing, listening, learning, and keeping the health of a partnership top of mind. Again, every partnership is unique. Be respectful of their knowledge, expertise, work, impact. Ensure quality and a fair division of responsibilities. Welcome honest and direct feedback and input. Grow healthy partnerships to a longer and deeper relationship. So how you engage with your nonprofit partner is just as important as the outcomes of your partnership. And again, like personal relationships, you need time to dedicate time and attention your partner needs and have open dialogue. So all parties have a wealth of knowledge and expertise. Listen to each other's needs to understand how best to approach each other's work. Seek out their perspective and share yours. So some best practices to become a good listener to a partner. Ask about their past partnerships. What worked, what didn't work. Always ask the partner what is best for them. Don't assume what works best for you might work best for them. Invite them to be candid and open about expectations and reservations. So leading with transparency. So that means holding up to your commitments, even when forced to make difficult decisions. No one likes conflict, but there can be good conflict when it's constructive and produces new ideas and solutions to problems and creativity. So again, share your motivations and expectations upfront and questions and concerns that come along the way. Discuss budget and resourcing in detail. So communication is key to make sure your organization commits to ongoing check-ins. Partnerships come with compromise. Remember to be flexible and adaptable. Document the partnership. Both parties have something to offer and something to gain. Craft a shared vision. Bring all relevant leaders to the table to create a clear vision for the partnership. Be adaptable and flexible. Remain open and flexible to adapt. Circumstances ensure maximum impact. Clearly assign roles and responsibilities. Everyone should have a clear understanding of their roles and related expectations of that partnership. Share leadership and decision making. Consider viewpoints from all sides of the partnership. Be clear about decision makers. And set a cadence for staying connected. Ensure your regular check-ins with consolidated points of contact. And that includes having a secondary contact. Tips to a successful communication with the partner. So it's important to be proactive. Don't wait for misunderstandings to occur. Check in with your partner to ensure potential challenges are addressed quickly. Have a model open communication. Be candid, be honest, and actively invite your partner for feedback. Now, look out for red flags. If your partner seems hesitant or doubtful, check with them to learn what concerns them. Work with your partner to find appropriate solutions. Now, evaluate your partnership and evolve. So make evaluation a part of the partner agreement. It's much easier to build evaluation in your partnership while you're structuring it than to try and retrofit metrics into something after it's all well underway. Determine how you'll measure the success. Align on key milestones and regular reviews. Evaluate your impact on an ongoing basis. Work with key stakeholders. Align on a cadence for reporting on what type of information each partner needs. And build in informal points of evaluation. So be selective about what to measure. Measurement and evaluation should be well planned and properly resourced. Keep it simple and hone in on the key indicators of success. Prioritize. Think about the questions you want to answer to evaluate program outcomes and impact. A combination of quantitative and qualitative metrics will provide both data points and stories. So reflective questions to evaluate your partnership. So evaluating a partnership can help identify the strengths and areas to improve. It also helps guide the partnerships. So when you think about community impact, you can articulate the measurable impact and you're satisfied. Are you satisfied with the positive impact? Are the goals clear and measurable? Each organization is clear on its roles and responsibilities, and then you understand how decisions are being made. When it comes to relationship with partners, know who your points of contact are. Are your points of contact responding quickly? If not, who's the secondary point of contact? Are partner organizations openly communicating? Do the partner organizations respect the point of view? And both organizations have so much to learn from each other. So when we talk about reflecting and evolving, it's so important to collect and track and manage the data to allow you to measure the impact your organization is having in the community. It also tells a story for a potential funder. So again, data collecting through surveys only benefits those who take the time to analyze the findings and reflect on how they can improve your partnership and its impact. Build in internal conversations with key stakeholders and reflection sessions. And again, review the data and feedback regularly and consider changes you can make. So what I would like to ask for those on this call is to sort of share your experience creating, managing, or being involved in partnerships. What is something you've learned?
Right, I'd like to speak on that. So I have learned through collaborating with other groups that whatever strength that we as an organization have, like when we collaborate with other people, we're able to bring our initiatives to another level. So we recently had a toy drive, and we partnered with quite a few other organizations. And it was such an amazing event. I actually ended up getting sick the day of and I couldn't make it. But because I had such strong partnerships there and everybody knew what they were supposed to do and everyone was bringing something to the table, the event went off like as if I didn't exist, which I kind of felt some type of way about. But I mean, that was what was successful about it. So partnerships really, really, I think what it does is if you have something at this level, partnerships, the right partnerships could bring it up to this level. So that's what
I 100% agree with you. I think I've been in situations like that where I'm scheduled to lead a call, but like you, I got sick. And I am very lucky to have strong partners who are well versed in the topic that is to be discussed, and they're able to sort of manage it. So yeah, that's why having a partner is so critical to support the work you're doing and vice versa. So thank you for sharing. Anyone else from the group want to share?
Hello, everybody. Yes, I would like to share. My name is Logechi Amadi, Director of Youth Arrest. Having strong partnerships with us has allowed us to be able to really, as everyone said, exercise the different projects that we had for the community, as far as having a pantry 3 days a week. And, that takes a lot of manpower as far as, getting the items and distributing them and storing them and, and the collaborations, not only with the schools and the volunteers, but even the people in the neighborhood and the different churches that saw what was going on. Because they saw the partnerships that we had, it made them want to get involved. Even the same thing with the after school program. It was something that in that community they hadn't saw at the time. So when they saw the different collaborations that we were able to get, and even being able to go into an empty building that wasn't being used, it was a community center, but they weren't using it as a community center. For us to be able to go in there and actually have the kids in there and running a full day program, it made other larger organizations want to come and collaborate with us. So yes, it is very important to not only have them, but also keep the relationships going, whether it's a thank you letter or, support or, just saying we appreciate the fact that we've been in the business for, even if it's years gone by, just to say thank you, continuously is important.
100% recognizing their support, again, with a simple card or a phone call or a text, just to say, hey, thinking about you, would love to get together and talk about how we continue supporting each other. So critical in maintaining those relationships. What about groups that are engaging youth groups? What has been your experience sort of developing and continuing that relationship? And what are some of the projects they're doing to support you?
James, Arlene has her hand up. Arlene, you can
Sure.
go ahead and
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Arlene Rodriguez, Program Manager for Jazz Power Initiative. We have after-school programs and also do school residencies where youth get trained in jazz arts education. In our case, as it was said very recently, those little details of care go a long way. Since I'm working with the families, I know if they're going to be running late for something or have some health issues within the family, can assist. I always follow up on them to see if how did that came out, how is the grandma doing, how is the cold going. So definitely, as it was said also in the previous slides, being a good listener and being attentive and giving back in a loving way and showing appreciation for them has helped us having more families being secure to have their kids in the program, them being also more welcoming with anything that we can ask. So it really goes a long way, having those care details and just being attentive to them as they are to us.
So true. And if any of you have children and have a love for jazz, the work that Arlene is doing at her organization is incredible, and how they incorporate music and education and some of the musicals that they put on. I'm a huge fan, and Arlene, we've talked offline about my love of jazz. So
yes.
Thank you for that, and I look forward to coming to maybe one or two of your musicals. Or at
Yes,
least,
please.
yeah, don't ask me to play an instrument. I don't have that talent.
Well,
But,
okay. Audience is as important in the experience of performing. So you'll be great as an audience. Don't worry.
Great, thank you. Anyone else from the group like to share? Are there any tips or best practices you'd like to share with the group, or how you are managing or developing these relationships with partners? What is one recent thing or something you've learned in developing these partnerships? Are you developing partnerships outside of your community, different boroughs? And again, this is when we ask groups to sort of think outside of the box and go beyond where they typically work geographically.
Yeah, I think for our organization, we really focus on our area of expertise is supposed to be all of New York City, but traditionally, historically, we've been really, really focused and centered in Brooklyn. So we've been really, really trying to make sure that we're expanding our footprint to the other boroughs. And that's why I think that this is so great, because I'm like writing down everybody's email addresses, because I'm going to be reaching out to everyone after this to see what are things that we could do to partner outside of Brooklyn. So just give you a flag so everybody can expect an email from me.
Excellent. Again, this is a reminder to please put in your contact in the chat box. Are there any other questions in the chat box, Henry?
No, but Harry has his hand up.
Okay.
I was going to say, this just came up in a meeting that I was having about the importance of having a space that contains information about all of the partners that the organization is connecting with. We have a central database, but this is something that we continue to struggle with. And part of the reason why this is really important is that you want to make sure that when partners are being engaged, that there is like a single voice, especially if requests are being made. And also it helps to keep track of when memorandums of understanding are expiring or if they need to be renegotiated.
Very, very important. This is why we ask organizations to continue having that open dialogue, doing monthly check-ins, weekly check-ins, whatever works best for both parties. So thank you for that. Are there any other hands raised, questions in the chat box? Please feel free to unmute yourself.
I would just kind of echo what Harry said, not just from the organizational point, but also from the volunteer experience. When you have a volunteer coordinator, it was not uncommon for the volunteers to lose sight of the mission and kind of move into loving the coordinator. And so it was really, and then when she left, we're like, well, what happened to the volunteers, right? And so I'm so excited to hear that you all are creating that database that actually can, people can use to keep track of the volunteers and the organization and partners that they're working with. So I'm really excited to use that and share that information out.
Thank you, Karen. This is a question for the group. How are you recognizing your partners for the work they're doing and supporting your overall mission goals? And vice versa, how are they recognizing the work you're doing? Through social media, newsletters, shout outs at external meetings, community boards, What are you hearing from other people that you partner with that talk about the work you're doing together? Someone wrote a recognition dinner and breakfast. Thank you.
Just to keep the conversation going, what we do is we have our social media. So we love to tag our partners in a lot of the posts. We definitely try to send out letters thanking them. When we have initiatives, we like to make sure that, if we have a flyer, that we're including all our partners, logos on any initiative or anything that we're pushing forward. And then, our organization, usually we have a really large gala every year. And so that's another place where we hope to be able to let our partners to come out and enjoy and make them be known. So that's one of the things we do.
Thank you. And this, you brought up social media, and this is so important that we encourage groups who don't have a social media platform to create one, not only for recognizing their partners, but again, telling their stories. So if there's a potential funder, you can share that. That helps sort of tell the story and the impact that you're doing. So for those who don't have one yet, or who are working with a partner who has created a platform, again, this is another way to recognize your partners, but also tell the story of the work you're doing. Anyone else from the group? We have a comment here. So Gil, you shared that. Oh, comment went away. Henry, you want to share that?
Sure thing, I can read it out. Says that staff recently bought a cake to celebrate a specific volunteer with a little surprise party in the staff room. And they also tag partners on social media posts and invite specific staff at partner orgs to events that they are hosting.
Excellent. I think there was another comment.
Sharing contributes to your visibility to the community and allows you to make referrals as well.
Anyone else from the group? Going once, going twice. Alrighty, so, oh wait, handwritten thank you notes. Yes, it definitely goes a long way. Anyone else from the group? Oh, showing up in person to events. Yes, so important. All right, Henry, is there anything you want to add to what we've discussed today?
No, not much. Thank you all so much for hopping on and joining us for the second training session. Again, a friendly reminder that we'll be hosting the third session of this training series tomorrow, or not tomorrow, a week from today. And additionally, NYC Service will be hosting a free 3-month consultation program for 5 different nonprofits and CBOs that attend the training series. So we highly encourage your participation in the last session, and we hope to see you there.
All right, with that, thank you so much for attending today's session. If you have any questions, our contact information is on this page in the chat box. Again, I encourage all of you to copy and paste all the information that you see in the chat box, and encourage all of you to reach out to each other to see if there is a potential partnership opportunity. And with that, I will see you all next week.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. See you
Thank
guys
you.
next week. Bye.
Thank you.